Welcome to Repairing Lawnmowers for Profit. In this short video I'm going to show you the easy way to check for spark on your lawnmower. Now you'll definitely want to do this if you're having problems starting your lawnmower up or if it's running roughly. So before you start messing about with the petrol tank, the carburetor and replacing parts, the first step you should always do is check for spark. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. To test the spark on your lawnmower, you're going to need to make sure that the brake is turned off, and also you have a free hand to pull the starter rope. Now there's a very simple way to do this. Just get yourself a pair of mole grips and clamp the handle together, which will release the brake. It leaves you a free hand for pulling the starter cord, which you'll need to test for spark. Now you're sure that the brake's off on your lawnmower, the next step is simply to remove the ignition coil from the spark plug by simply pulling it off. And with that removed, what you need to use is the correct size spanner, or this spark plug wrench as I've got here. Simply slip it over the top and undo the plug, making sure of course before you do this that the lawnmower hasn't been running and the plug's not hot. And just remove this spark plug. Make sure that this end is on nice and tight. As you can see there, it's a little bit slack. Now most people would simply slide the plug back in, set this spark plug against something metal, and with the brake off as I've showed you, pull the starter rope and look for a small gap in there and see if there's a spark jumping across. Now the easiest way to do this is to buy one of these spark plug testers. They're around £3 on the internet, they're very cheap to pick up. Now if I was to remove this spark plug from here, plug the tester in and then plug the spark plug in, all you need to do then is set this against something metal like that, and if I have spark you should see this flash. So if I pull on the starter rope now, as I've said before, make sure the brake's off by clamping the handle. As you can see, there's a spark. This proves that you have good spark on your lawnmower. It's also a good way of testing any old spark plugs if you're not sure, if you think they're a bit suspect. So with that set, if your lawnmower's still not running, you may want to move on to the petrol tank and the carburetor, do some maintenance in there, but it's essential that you know if you've got good spark first before carrying on with any other procedure. Now if you've done the previous test and you don't see a spark, it could be either the spark plug's bad obviously, or the gap isn't set correctly. Now as you can see on this plug it is set correctly. There's a slight gap between the top of the spark plug and the main part. If this gap isn't set correctly, what can happen is, if the tab is bent too far away, the spark has too far to jump, and if the spark isn't there at all, it's normally because this spark plug's been bent down by over tightening. So you might want to just check the gap. You can use a feeler gauge, refer to the specification of the plug, just put your gauge in, make sure it's nice and snug, set the plug, make sure you've got a nice spark using your tester, and replace it back in the lawnmower. If you do have a spark and your lawnmower still isn't starting up, then you may want to look at the petrol tank and carburetor. So I hope this short video has helped anyone out who was trying to get the lawnmower running and wondering if they had a spark. Now as you can see behind me here, I have some lawnmowers in as a winter project. These will all be ready for next spring. I do get lawnmowers in the winter and turn them round, but the profits are slightly smaller of course, being a different time of the year. Now the best thing you can do is store these mowers up. I've got a lot behind me. I think I've got 4 at the minute. They're all self-propelled. Most of them have grass boxes and small problems that I'll show you how to fix if you buy the DVD at repairinglawnmowersforprofit.com. Thanks very much for watching. This winter I'll be filming a new product. I'm going to restore a Briggs & Stratton 35 Classic engine. I'm going to take every part off it I can get off, and I'm going to film every single part of putting it back together. So thanks very much for watching. Keep your eye out on the website for future products, and I'll see you again. Please feel free to subscribe, rate or leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.